Ora, gambare, gambare.
Today, we will look into a crazy yet kawaii manga. In the opening scene, we see a girl waking up in a VR world that seems to be loading. Just then, a weird-looking angel appears, welcoming us to a shady-as-hell name known as Meltis Online. As the angel asks the girl her name as a nice gesture, all of a sudden, she gets bitch-slapped. Meanwhile, the girl introduces herself as Rindu Amain and offers a shitty apology for the slap, stating how the angel was getting on her nerves, stating that she hates angels. Crashing out as the poor angel is on the grounds with her lights out, Amin yaps about the annoying chants surrounding angels about how adorable and cute they are, which further infuriates her. Not stopping her assault, Amin kicks the poor angel in the face while continuing her rant about hating angels. However, realizing that she messed up by hitting the angel, Amin mutters about how she can't move forward now and that her crazy ass should have waited till she had at least customized an avatar. Wondering what she is going to tell someone named Mayumi, Amin remembers how they were supposed to meet up. But just then, she is taken out of her daydream when someone calls her out for hitting the angel. Turning around, Amin sees a fancy chick with weird, long pigtails. Stunned by the beauty and cuteness of this new chick, Amin stands there silently as the girl greets and welcomes her to the faraway world. Coming back to crashing out on the poor angel, the chick asks Amin her name. Stuttering like a fool, Amin answers her, yet the girl stops her and asks her if that is her real name. Gushing at the cuteness of the girl, Amin is in seventh heaven trying to get her senses back. Trying to think of a game username, Amin stands there confused, and seeing this, the girl suggests Rin, to which Amin agrees immediately. Moving on to Amin now, Rin's appearance. The chick casually fat shames our MC while blurting out her measurements, causing Rin to stand there stunned. Customizing an outfit using her tech, the girl materializes an outfit for Rin while moving on to choosing a class for her. However, not seeing much of a difference, Rin is staring there like a statue, wondering how she got in this shit, making the girl coyly comment that if she isn't happy with her looks, then she should shut her trap and not complain. Coming back to the topic of class, the pigtailed chick gives off a mean smirk while asking Rin how she feels about being a necromancer. Being a Dumbo not knowing much about it, the girls decide to give a lesson about how, compared to other classes, necromancers might be weak, but they do fight alongside minions, and though it might be hard in the beginning, soon enough, she will level up. Wrapping up her rant, the chick warns Rin how a special ring will lock in one tool and that it matches her own. Owing at wearing a matching ring as the cool chick, Rin is happy to accept her class, resulting in the chick being shocked and asking if she needs any further advice. But Rin shuts her down, saying that she likes to figure out stuff on her own. Seemingly with everything done, the chick pushes Rin, saying how she is going to send her to the starting area, falling backwards from the shove. Rin remembers a well there. Just as the chick introduces herself as Babylon, she gives one last menacing look to Rin, saying that she will never forgive her if she starts worshipping Meltis. Somehow liking this sadistic shit, a happy Rin falls into the well as she gets shifted to her next location. After some loading, the scene shifts to the huge grasslands of southern Tarlesh. Amazed at the natural beauty of the place, Rin looks around in wonder. While running through the landscape like a child on a sugar high, Rin goes around smelling random flowers, wondering how VR these days has gotten amazing as everything seems so real. But soon enough, this astonishment fades as Rin thinks about where to go next. As she thinks about some quest log and shit, a blob-like creature watches her from behind and suddenly attacks her, which turns out to be a slime that causes her minor damage. Not one to take shit from anyone, Rin counters back with her own Mike Tyson fists, causing 2 damages to the slime. This causes the slime to lock in and hit Rin in her stomach, causing her to lose her breath as well as taking another health damage. Hitting the little shit back with her elbow, Rin causes critical damage to the slime, but the fight just continues as the slime hits again, causing 2 damages to Rin. Next, Rin stretches the poor slime, causing 4 damage, followed by the slime putting her in a chokehold, and then Rin hits it to the ground, causing further damage. Finally, after landing more critical hits with 4 damage points, the slime is defeated, and Rin gets a low-grade health potion. Meanwhile, Rin stands there panting, trying to catch her breath while simultaneously wondering how she got the job done. Recalling her piss-poor job against one of the weakest monsters of this world, Rin tries to be optimistic and moves on to heal herself. Looking at her inventory, she selects the potion she just acquired and uses that on herself, causing her HP to be fully restored to 10. However, feeling dread all of a sudden, Rin wonders about her low HP and how it's too less and she won't be able to survive for much longer. But if she remakes her character, she's lose her precious ring that the Babylon chick gave her. Looking into the stats of the ring, finding out that it's about death's craving, Rin is amazed to learn that she is undead, and that when she just healed herself, now she saw a glimpse of a shady book. Looking into that, Rin recalls a book about the into of necromancy and dark magic. Disappointed that she didn't use this information before to take down the slime, Rin stands there, but just then she gets back into her groove, remembering how the book also tells about the use of offensive black magic, which can help her. Equipped with this wisdom, Rin crashes out, challenging the slime for a showdown, but is diverted by a nearby rustling sound. Turning around, expecting another slime blob, Rin nearly shit herself seeing that it's a huge-ass wolf. Choosing not to freak out, Rin locks in and lunges to strike first with Curse Spear. The scene opens up with Wolf getting his ass whopped by a Curse Spear that Rin aimed at it, which dealt more than 27 damage points to the wolf. Rubbing salt on the injuries, she mocks the wolf for how his dumbass managed to get hit by the very first shot. Believing that she is getting the hang of her skills, Rin gives an insight into how you first pick a particular point, and after locking in, you say the activation word to launch the attack, but you gotta wait 3 seconds to make another attack. Though getting her first hit, Rin does not undermine the wolf that looks like a dog, as it's above the slime in terms of rank. As the wolf stands there menacingly, Rin launches her next attack head-on, and this one lands on the exact point, hitting the wolf right in the center and causing 40 damage points, resulting in the wolf getting nerfed once and for all. Amazed at this accomplishment, we see that Rin has leveled up to the 3rd rank and has acquired some new skills. Dumping her stats to MND, Rin wonders how her second shot managed to hit harder, which can be due to the curse rebuff. However, looking at the defeated wolf, Rin gets an idea and tries to do something while pointing at the wolf and telling it to rise. This weird shit actually manages to work, as the dead-ass wolf from before manages to be reincarnated after Rin activates animate death. Shocked at seeing the wolf sitting happily in front of her, Rin learns that it's now her own personal servant, and its current level is 8. Wondering about the wolf's appearance being fresh and fly, Rin is shocked. However, taking a closer look, it looks a little high on something. Continuing her thoughts, Rin questions what the 1 star means and how this little shit manages to reach level 8. Moving on to figuring out a name for it, Rin gives it deep thought, looking at the thing, thinking what will suit it best. Reaching her conclusion, she takes a deep breath and starts shouting the wolf's name, which turns out to be a wacky name like Donta. Explaining her reasoning behind this shady name, she explains how the wolf is sluggish and a fata, so Donta sounds great, but the dogs appears unhappy with it, but keep his mouth shut as his name I entered in the system. Done with the hassle, Rin gets back on track and announces to Donta that they should move on to hunt monsters now, and that he better not be a drama queen about his name. Leaving the bitch behind, a sulking Donta leaves, however. All of a sudden, countless notifications start pouring on the screen surrounding Donta's accomplishments in that brief time, shocking Rin. Amazed at his strength, Rin is flabbergasted at how he managed to level up in no time and why she even struggled. Looking at her personal tablet, she thinks about dropping a message to her Donta, telling him to come back to her. Hearing her shrieking banshee voice, Donta runs back and stands respectfully in front of her, waiting for the next command. This makes Rin praise him and coddle him up, telling how they leveled up so quickly. Deciding to look at her stats, to the surprise of no one, we see her pathetic ass still being quite behind, with only HP getting somewhat better from 10 to 24. Moving on to the next adventure, Rin decides to venture towards the city to get some dealings done surrounding her stuff. But more importantly, she has to get in contact with this Mayumi chick. As Rin wonders why the Mayumi chick is still friends with her, suddenly out of nowhere, she gets hit by a slime, causing both her and Donta to be caught off guard. However, managing to lock in time, Donta takes down the slime with stomps. Making up her mind about what to do next, Rin calls out Donta and orders him to clear out the area surrounding them for any monsters. Evilly smirking while thinking about all the free goodies she is about to receive, Rin suddenly sees a notification about how Donta has defeated a player named Malian and has gained 310 exp, and that he has achieved level 10 now, and his evolution is now possible. Shocked at this news, Rin goes silent and thinks about all the canceled tweets her feed is gonna be flooded with now after killing a fellow player. Skipping to night, as the moon gleams brightly, we see a haunted sight as dead bodies lie all over the place with many stabbing injuries. Watching this scene, there is a girl dressed up in a cool skull mask and a fly on her face, but soon enough, as more area comes into view, it's clear that this chick is nerfed as well. As she lies with her thin body against a tree, the chick thinks that everyone who followed her is dead, and that their souls have gone as well. But like every selfish chit, she cares only about how her soul must not return to the void, not until she takes her country back. But the longer this matter continues, her soul darkens further, and her love for her nation dies. Choosing not to care about the means anymore, the mysterious girl steps forward. Back to our crazy chick and her wolf, we see Rin look worried that they just committed fellow player homicide, and it looks like the person killed was at a party when this happened. Knowing that she is done for, Rin calls out for her dumbass dog, who manages to return early. Mad at the idiot for causing it, Rin yells at Donta, telling him not to go around killing folks, causing the dumb wolf to go quiet before tears start to pool in his eyes and the dumbass starts to bawl his eyes out. Stunned at this, Rin tries to console him, stating how he was trying his best. Seeing that the wolf has recovered, Rin wonders about their next move, suddenly remembering the evolution aspect, which catches Donta's attention as well. Angry at her servant, Rin wonders if his appearance manages to changes, then it will be great. Amazed at this possibility of evolution, Donta seems happy as Rin finds that they have 4 options. Taking a look at them, we learn about the very first one, which is a skull wolf, which is nothing but a pile of bones with necromancer abilities, who will be crushed at first sight due to his loss of fur. Moving on to the second one, which is a blood wolf, we learn that it's a beast-class wolf that somehow stinks like a hot pile of garbage. Done with the second one, Rin looks at option 3, which is a lesser dop, which comes under the human class as it looks more like a werewolf than an ordinary wolf, and because it can take human form at night. Surprisingly rejecting this option as well, Rin moves to the last option, which is a lesser warg that comes in demon class, seems to be intelligent and quite cute-looking, and has the ability to shift to a hole as a fighting titan when the time comes. Liking this option the most, Rin decides to go with the warg option as a dazed Donta stares at her. Starting the evolution process, but soon enough, the process stops due to some material requirements that have been provided by the cute chick from the beginning, Babylon. As a disappointed Rin stands there, out of nowhere, she receives a message from the Babylon chick saying how she got the materials. Thanking her crush, Rin once again starts the evolution process, and as it completes, we see a bigger and more Sigma-looking version of Donta, who seems to have acquired martial as well as passive skills. Seeing her cute, small meth-head wolf being transformed into a larger and cuter version, Rin lunges forward to hug him, happy to notice that it is still fluffy. However, the spell is broken when the big back announces his hunger. Shocked yet amazed that she can now understand him, Rin warns Donta about attacking different players from now on. However, not hearing her yapping, Donta is only concerned with the fact that he is hungry. Telling the wolf to hide, sensing someone approaching, Rin tries to stay calm and notices the people approaching. Relying on her shitty communication skills to get through this ordeal, Rin gears up as one of the men spots and waves at her. As the dude approaches her, he notices her nervousness, making him slyly comment that she seems like a new player. Rambling on as the man mentions looking around for lone wolves, Rin gets more nervous trying to think about something to respond with, but she is brought back from her thoughts by the dude asking her what is wrong with her. Muttering that it's nothing, Rin reaches the point of a complete mental breakdown and finally yells out for Donta, who, without wasting a second, leaps out from behind her, shocking everyone. Warning the men about Donta and his Super Saiyan powers, Rin tells Donta to stop when it starts to growl, ready for attack, instructing him not to harm the man. In the tense scene as Rin tells Donta to calm down, she addresses another dude named Mr. Jones and tells him not to come near her, as his creepy ass is making her uncomfortable. Confused at this psycho bitch, Mr. Jones just side-eyes her, causing Rin to stutter and explain how she doesn't like people getting close to her. Telling him goodbye, Rin turns to leave with Donta, seemingly proud of her shitty communication tactics. On the other hand, remembering the altercation with Rin, the Jones dude lets out a chuckle as his friends start to mock about how Rin called him nasty. Retorting back, Jones states that if his friend hadn't jumped up at her right in the beginning, that none of this would have happened. Looking ashamed as his friends start to call him out for his behavior, and how Rin might think him a weirdo now, the dude just stands there covering his mouth. However, the conversation shifts when Donta is brought up, causing the men to discuss among themselves whether it is a new class. Responding, a dude named Buzz says how it might be the case, and Rin might have seen who defeated Melian's wolf based on where she came from. Further throwing out theories, they think about Rin and whether she is a beast tamer, to which Mr. Jones replies that if she can nerf a wolf on her own, then she doesn't need them. Not allowing his BFF, he stoner-looking dude tells Jones not to give up hope. As the view pans back to huge walls, Mr. Jones wonders about how if he saw Rin again, he'll apologize to her. On the other hand, skipping to the bustling town of Tarlesh, we see people in the market. Just then, Rin and Daunta approach the gates, but they are stopped by a guard, causing Rin to turn back. Stunned at Daunta's size, the guards try to ask what the hell she is up to. Answering that Daunta is her pet, causing more shock, Rin tells the wolf to shake to prove her point. Answering to his master's commands, Daunta, being a dumbass, decides to sit down wiggling his tail while looking confused. Seeing this, Rin angrily tells him to put his right paw in her hand, which he immediately does, making the guard finally agree about Daunta being a pet. Relieved that the guards have accepted her story, Rin moves on as the guards tell her to be careful about her dog. Just then, while checking her tablet, a girl bursts out of nowhere on the screen, and it turns out to be Mayumi. Relieved at finally connecting with her friend, Rin tells her friend about her location, but Mayumi just ends up roasting her. Not bothering with her friend's shenanigans, Rin asks her to pick them up as she has Daunta with her now, which shocks Mayumi. As Rin tries to get back on topic, Mayumi cuts her off, telling her quite aggressively to call her Perseus. Playing along with her friend, Rin decides to call her Perchan satisfied. Perchan announces that she is coming to pick Rin up. As she waits for her friend to arrive, Rin starts to get more and more anxious, almost having a panic attack. Later on, as they move around town, many people stop to gawk at the huge-ass wolf walking among them. Meanwhile, an uncaring and depressed Rin just asks Daunta about what he wanna eat, to which Daunta replies meat. Feeling anxious as she is being watched, Rin finally reaches the meat shop and looks up at a shady-looking dude. Back to the bustling market, we see our wacky MC trying to sell her cheap shit for some meat. Shocked at this proposition, the shopkeeper looks at the stuff the lady is selling and is stunned to see it's all weapons. Offering his price of more than 1,000 silver coins along with some meat, the poor dude tries to reach a bargain, yet Rin, being a weirdo, shuts him down and demands it all to be meat. Scared, the shopkeeper goes with it as people surrounding them gawk at the strange girl. Moving on, as the shopkeeper hesitantly thanks Rin just looks uncomfortable at all the attention she is getting. Ordering Daunta to giddy and leave as her aura is decreasing, the wolf offers her to get on his back for a ride. Unsure, Rin hesitantly gets on its back, asking Daunta if he feels any pain with her holding his fur, which Daunta brushes off and decides to run out of there without wasting any more time. Shocked at the speed, Rinna struggles to hold on, wondering how his lazy-ass wolf got this fast. Meanwhile, in no time, they are out of the town gates. Noticing, Rin orders Daunta to keep his ass running so they can get farther away from this shithole. However, right then, Rin notices something, a slimy blob coming towards them at full speed, but just as it reaches them, it flies past them. Rin is shocked at the thing and wonders about whether that was a slime blob, to which Daunta replies that it appears to be much faster than him. Thinking about how anyone can keep up with that thing, Rin spots a safe location. Offering Daunta a big-ass piece of meat for his help, Rin goes on to be a nerd and starts to read the second volume of the Necromancy book, which explains how, by releasing the deathly aura, the user and their pet can become powerful, and that these skills have different levels. Sometime later, as Rin does her daily reading while Daunta is busy stuffing his face, suddenly a slime blob hits right at her, causing Rin to fall down. Furious at always being interrupted by these ugly-ass creatures, Rin curses it out but gets hit right on her face. Done with this shit, Rin goes berserk and ends up activating negative aura. Knowing that he is done, the blob stares on as he gets nerfed by the attack. Seemingly having gotten an upgrade, Daunta claims that he can now catch the gold slime blob from earlier. Happy to hear this, Rin allows him to chase it. Looking at Daunta running around after the blob, Rin sits against a tree, wondering how fast Daunta has gotten, but questions Daunta's skills, noticing the insane maneuverability of the blob. Lost in her thoughts, Rinner is jostled out when she notices that the blob is coming right towards her. Not losing a beat, Rin locks in to take the gold slime, but it gets hit with her aura from before. Moving on, we see that the battle didn't last long as the slime blob got nerfed easily, looking like a smashed mess. This earns Rin 1 EXP, yet she doesn't look very happy based on how it was killed with her leftover aura, but fortunately she did end up earning a pure golden glot and a special card. Just then, Daunta comes in seemingly missing the action. However, his happiness is short-lived when a loud shriek comes from somewhere. Menacing, growling at the horrible shriek, Rin calms him to stand down, saying how it's just a friend. Wondering how this friend came here, we see that it's none other than her kawaii friend Perseus. Still not in alert mode, Daunta is hesitant about this new chick, but Rin just tells him to calm his ass down as it's her very special friend. Greeting them both, Perseus gushes at Daunta, which turns him into a sissy as he starts to lick her up. Telling him to stop, Perseus shifts the conversation to the gold-colored slime, wondering if they have seen it. As a cocky Perseus tells that no one has beaten that thing, Rin counters back, responding how he has done it. Losing her mind, Perseus wonders how Rin did it, but just then Rin drops another bomb about getting the gold card, which makes Perseus go berserk with shock. Seeing her reaction, both Rin and Donta just stare at the weirdo. Getting her wacky friend's attention, Rin tells her how this card grants boss status, to which Perseus informs her that it helps her to nullify debuffs till rank 2, and that it also gives her defensive abilities, but it is useless unless it's a ring or bracelet, and that no accessories like that have been given to them. Right then, Rin drops another bomb about her having a ring. Loosing her shirt, Perseus, being the opposite of calm, asks her where her broke ass got it from, to which Rin just shyly responds that Babylon gave it to her. Done with her shit, Perseus just shrieks who the hell is this Babylon chick. Sometime later, Rhine recalls how she informed Perseus about everything her stupid-ass friend just logged out, hoping to see this fine Babylon chick for herself, even though it means she has to start from the very beginning. Just then, Rin receives a message from Babylon about her crazy-ass friend and how she too punched the poor angel. Unfazed, Rin just sits there when Perseus appears out of nowhere once again, declaring how Babylon was a great person. Showing off her new fit, Perseus reveals an awesome, shiny princess gauntlet she received from Babylon. Wondering about the shady princess part, Rin appears confused, to which Perseus explains how she is now a cool-af dark princess who can draw out a demon sword from her gauntlet. Showing off the cool sword, Perseus twirls around with her new weapon, rubbing it in Rin's face about how she got fancier moves than her. Seeing her dumb friend's expression, Perseus explains how a cool fit can also boost the power of their attacks, which makes Rin wonder about everything and how Perseus is a short-range fighter with her cool, glamorized sword. But somehow the more she draws this sword, the aura around her decreases. Seeing her friend twirling around as Donta hypes her own, Rin tells him to sit his ass down. Finally coming back from the cloud, Perseus decides to take a field test, but before that, she gives Rin an avatar. Not being able to accept it like a grateful idiot, Rin tries to refuse, but Perseus shuts her down, telling her that she can't be seen with a lame friend with her ugly-ass fit. Giving her a well-needed makeover, making Rin look 10 times hotter than before, Perseus looks satisfied with her work. Happy with her transformation, Rin starts to mutter nonsense, but Perseus shuts her down again. Thanking her friend for the fire outfit, Rin tells how she now knows about fashion, no thanks to Perseus. Shocked at hearing this, Perseus diverts her attention and offers Rin to come with her for some hunting now, to which both Rin agrees happily, telling Donta to cover the area as they go around hunting, but warns him not to attack other players. The scene shifts to some random-ass online Meltis thread where players can share info about events, monsters, and various tips. Another page of this thread reveals that only 4 types of magic exist, which are fire, water, wind, and earth. Followed by this is a myriad of comments by various anonymous adventurers ranging from a new class being discovered, which is the Beat Tamer, to random TMZ-type shots being leaked of Donta, which makes many adventurers ask what the hell is that thing. Wondering about the Beast Tamer module, many players wonder about this new addition and decide to come to Tarlash to figure it out. Finding out that the so-called Beast Tamer is now running out with the crazy chick Perseus, there is a joint disappointment in the thread as everyone wonders about this shitty duo. Labeling Perseus as a shady figure, everyone in the chat shares their experience with her, which turns out to be quite mixed. Just then, adventurer number 621 claims that a huge-ass wolf is charging towards him, making others go haywire, asking him questions about it. But soon enough, it's revealed that the poor dude ended up getting nerfed. Shifting the scene to Donta beating some random dude's ass, we get to know that the wolf landed a double palm strike attack and landed a total of 201 blows to get the job done, along with acquiring a knife. On the other hand, Perseus and Rin have also been getting their groove on, as we see that they have leveled up as well, with Rin sitting at level 10 and Perseus at level 9. Congratulating each with a job well done, Rin seems worried and solemn, thinking about how her dumbass wolf has been on a rampage for too long. Thinking about giving up the hunt, Perseus tries to cheer her up by bringing up the topic of Donta getting a good exercise by nerfing so many dudes, but just then we see some monsters approaching them, seemingly being respawned. Being the cocky, fashionable chick, Perseus asks Rin not to worry as she will take care of them, and she does as claimed by taking the wolves' heads on. Wasting no time in launching her attack, Perseus lunges forward, hitting one of the wolves with her mighty sword, cutting it in half. The scene shifts to Perseus's aura farming, while we learn that she has dealt a great deal of blows to the wolves. Gaining 135 EXP after single-handedly taking down so many wolves, Perseus stands there proudly as Rin praises her. However, Rin does wonder about the EXP being so low and thinks that it's better to let Donta deal with the wolves on her behalf. Noticing that her friend is getting her vibe back, Perseus seems happy. Just then, we see Donta being distracted by something as someone shouts in the back, activating his body slam. Donta charges forward as Rin and Perseus look on, wondering what he is doing. As the two see a shielded man charging forward that appears to be a guard, Donta slams into the shielded head-on, which causes the poor dude to fly off as the impact of the wolf slamming into him was nothing short of a fancy ass car slamming into you. Happy at leveling up to one level higher, everyone seems quite ecstatic as Donta also starts to act all cocky. Moving on, as Rin looks at who Donta just yeeted, they notice that the man was named Yoris, which, despite sounding familiar, doesn't ring a bell. Ready for the next adventure, Perseus proposes to move towards the forest now, to which Rin questions her if this is a better idea than just peeking. Answering her, Perseus tells how it's gonna be far better than their peeking so far, as their next adventure is going to involve them ugly-ass goblins. As the pair decides to move on, Donta, being a fat-ass, announces that he is hungry, which causes Rin to scold him for his never-ending hunger. Just then, taking pity on the poor boy, Perseus announces that she has some meat in her storage, making Donta leap up in joy. Seeing the huge pile of meat in front of him, Donta gets emotional as Perseus tells him to feast on it like a good boy, as he did all the hard work. Thanking her friend for feeding her big-back wolf, Rin turns to Perseus to talk about something, but gets distracted by her friend's armor, telling how it's very kawaii. This makes Perseus quite happy as she twirls around as Rin showers her with more praise, saying how she looks far better than her usual self, not that she doesn't look cute during her usual days. Gooey with all the praise, Perseus starts to shriek, and Donta, being a dumbass, also joins in, seemingly done with stuffing his face with food. Getting on his back, Rin tells Perseus to join her as well, and they both get ready on the world's back. Telling him to go slow, Rin gets ready to guide the beast as Perseus asks to hold her, which makes Rin blush as Perseus starts to be extra cozy, almost hugging rather than holding her. Getting out of her head and seeing that Perseus is more than ready for the ride, Rin asks Donta to move faster if he wants to now. Seemingly waiting for the exact words, Donta whooshes forward, causing both Rin and Perseus to almost fall down. Slightly irritated, Rin closes her eyes, which causes Perseus to shout at her dumbass to look where she is, causing Donta to start heading for a goblin standing in the middle like an idiot. And before you know it, the goblin gets yeeted out of existence by Donta with a vicious body slam. Unbothered by the fact that he just tore apart someone with his strength, Donta runs happily as a worried Rin shouts at him to stop. Hearing this, Donta makes a sudden break, causing Rin to fly off calmly muttering how if his dumbass is gonna slow down that fast, this is the shit that happens. Falling right on her dumb head, Rhine takes some damage as a worried Perseus cries out her name. As Donta goes near to investigate, Rin shuts his dumb ass down for asking her if she is all right. However, telling that she isn't mad at him, Rin gets up with Perseus's help, but just then notices a creepy human skeleton. As Perseus states how they have reached this particular area quite early, we cut to a cutscene in the middle of the southern forest of Tarlash, where huge monsters live, and only a few people are dumb enough to wander there. Going back to the cutscene, we get a shot of the scary and clustered forest where only people with something to conceal come of their own will. Their traces are undiscernible after a time, seemingly washed away by the elements of the forest, causing their pursuers to return empty-handed. All that is left in this horrible place are corpses, and the reason why they vanquished is something that our players have to solve now. Coming back, a quest appears surrounding the cutscene and how they have to investigate it now. Looking at everything, Rin is a bit confused and asks Perseus if she should accept it or not, to which Perseus wonders if it's a limited quest that ends up disappearing after someone finishes it. Seeing that no one has been able to finish this quest so far, he friends take on the challenge and look around for a place to start. Just then, Rin thinks about whether she should use her magic to resurrect the skeleton. Deciding to do just then, Rin extends her hand, ordering the corpse to rise, which ends up being unsuccessful as there is no soul left in the skeleton. Trying again and again to see whether it works or not, Rin is unsuccessful for each of the skeletons, with the same message popping up that they have no soul left. Disappointed at not getting any results, Rin moves to the last familiar corpse leaning against the tree. Trying one more time to make it rise, Rin is shocked to see the corpse responding and getting up, making her become her servant. Amazed at this, a cocky Rin gloats to Perseus about her skills. Moving forward, we see a screen pop up asking Rin to name the servant, but it doesn't give her much of a choice, as a name Oralia is auto-selected. This shocks Rin, who wonders whether it was the skeleton's name when she was alive. Now that the hassle of naming is done, Rin gets into boss mode and tells Aurelie to get her shit together and get prepared to work hard. Not responding, Aurelia just stands there, making Rin wonder if Donta was also once a zombie before he was modified. But her thoughts are cut short when Donta detected an enemy all of a sudden. Seeing the approaching figure and thinking it to be a goblin, Rin orders Aurelia to take it down, as we get to see the cool-ass new servant dressed in what appears to be a knockoff witch costume. However, before anyone can do anything, Aurelia lets out a shriek, seemingly terrified by goblins. Hearing from Donta that Aurelia can't fight for shit, Rin is shocked and realizes how, due to Aurelia's weird skull body, she can't chant the command. Done with the weight, the goblin lunges forward, ready to attack, and a panicked Aurelia tries to shield herself like a pathetic idiot. Bored with the idiotic display, Donta jumps in and takes down the goblin with a single body slam, earning 360 EXP. Seeing the now nerfed goblin, Aurelia starts to apologize for her shitty abilities, making Donta comment that once she gets her shit together and gets an upgrade, she will do much better. However, less than convinced, Rin just thinks that she has to raise the idiot skeleton slowly, getting her attention back to Aurelia. Rin notices that she has frozen all of a sudden and has been staring at a single point. Confused why the dumbass is staring at the ground, suddenly Donta starts to dig at that certain point, resulting in him finding a beautiful necklace. Just like a woman, Rin picks up the flashy necklace with world record speed as an amazed Perseus stares on. Wondering whether it belongs to Aurelia, Rin starts to side-eye the skeleton, causing her to violently shake her head, indicating that it's not hers. Asking if she should keep it, Rin just ends up taking the cute necklace for herself and decides to wear it without really understanding its nature. However, as soon as she gets it around her neck, it becomes clear that what an idiot she is because we learn that the necklace is cursed, and now it can't be taken off. Seeing this happen, Perseus questions her about which Rin just solemnly responds, agreeing to the fact that her dumbass just casually wore a cursed item. Further questioning her about the unidentified nature of the necklace, Perseus states how Rin doesn't even know what the necklace does, to which a frustrated Rin retorts. Aurelia, not understanding what's going on, stands there like an idiot, making Rin wonder what's her deal is. As Perseus wonders why the necklace is cursed, Aurelia starts to bow down, seemingly appearing apologetic. Ignoring her shenanigans, Rin focuses on the necklace, noticing how it hasn't affected her stats. Trying to make her clams, Perseus offers to get them appraised once they reach the city of Loli. Realizing that she is stuck with this till then, Perseus announces that they will be taking a detour to Loli now to get this thing off, which makes Rin excited, wondering about how the city will turn out. Skipping to some time later in the same very location, a woman looks around, seemingly in search of something, when a huge shady-looking man appears out of the ground wearing a shady robe. We learn that someone named Orvis cannot touch something due to it being all yucky. The person further wonders how, despite every corpse being at the same point, the one lying against the tree, Aurelia, has somehow disappeared. The woman drops down on her knee with her head down in front of the shady dude, muttering how apologetic she is to make their king of graves come here in vain. Side-eyeing the women on her knees, the dude just mutters how, although they didn't find what they were looking forward to, the left-behind corpse can be utilized, so it wasn't all in vain. Thanking the dude for his mercy, the woman sighs in relief as the man takes out his hand and orders the corpses to rise. Hearing this command, the corpses start to rise after getting animated. Not done yet, the dude then orders them to merge, causing a huge blast as all the corpses come together to make a huge-ass mega monster wearing armor. Not really satisfied with the job done, the dude brushes it off and orders the girl named Orvis to move, as they are on a mission to turn this world into a massive grave. Not waiting around, the girl gets up to follow the sketchy dude on their quest to be the Silent Knight. Skipping to our favorite Loli duo, we see them having their first part battle with Perseus as Ronnie commands her first to take the frog on the right. Confident that she can take it on, Perseus jumps to the task as Rin fights off with the frogs using her cursed spear technique. As Rin lands solid blows to the frogs using her cursed spear technique. In the back, Perseus uses her cool knight moves like the Hyper Slash to take on her part of the enemies. Sometime later, after reaching up to level 20, both Rin and Perseus are back on Dante's back, looking satisfied. Thinking back to their adventure together, Rin wonders how, ever since Perseus got her super slasher technique, they have been on a roll as their stats have hiked up remarkably. Remembering the time when Perseus offered to show her stats despite it being dangerous, Rin recalls how Perseus was confident about showing it to her, along with her super smart fit, but Rin turned down the outfit check part, telling her to do it later on, which incited a weird reaction from her idiot friend. Seeing her friend's uncomfortable expression, Perseus just showed her stats, which turned out to be quite stellar with a shit ton of achievements and accessories. Amazed at her friend's accomplishment, Rin praises Perseus, which makes her beam. However, confused about certain points, Rin questions her about some wacky Aegis shield and PP thing. Answering Rin, Perseus clarifies how the PP means princess points and that they regenerate after every 120 seconds, and the Aegis is something she has just acquired, so it's a mystery for her as well. Deciding to test it out right then and there, Rin recalls how Perseus's abilities were bombastic, as they created a shield of sorts that nullifies all the non-physical blows on you and making it impossible to touch you. Trying it out, Rin recalls how her spear technique was also useless against the shield. Moving on to Perseus's weapon, Rennie revealed that her friend was equipped with a cool executioner axe, and as she can't really use her own weapons, then these cool new shield techniques might be given to her to balance things out. Back to the present, as the two are riding on Dante's back along with dumbass Aurelia, they notice that their path is starting to become rocky, indicating that they might have entered a new zone. Looking around, Perseus explains how, according to some nerdy geologist, this area that they are now wandering through used to be underwater, causing all these layers to form. Amazed that the game developers went that deeply into the lore, Rin listens on as Perseus continues saying answers how even the usually shitty NPCs manage to feel real in this game, as they remember the people they saw, and they tend to get suspicious, making them just like them. Thinking about what Perseus said, Rin side-eyes her, causing Perseus to shift the topic to how they should be getting close to the Lorelei city by now. However, due to it being dark, they are unsure. Seeing this confusion, Perseus offers Rin to switch to Channel 3, as different channels in the game have different time settings. Happy to oblige with her friend's offer, Rin makes the switch, which also causes Aurelia and Dante to get transferred as well. Slowly opening her eyes after the transportation, Rin is amazed at the sight of a huge city with magnificent buildings as well as a vast sea beyond that. Answering Perseus's question about what she thinks about the sea, Rin is amazed at the sight stating how she wants to live here. Happy at the metaphorical preposition, Perseus just goes with the flow, stating how she'd like to kive here as well, which further solidifies Rin's decision. Suddenly shifting her focus to her friend, Rin states how Perseus works so hard and reveals that she is actually a hardworking CEO in real life, meaning she has many enemies and a lavish lifestyle. Suddenly shy after hearing this praise, Perseus makes a confession that she has liked Rin for some time now. But before Rin can muster any reply, a stone armor slime appears out of nowhere and smacks right into Rin's face, causing 31-point damage. Falling down from the impact, Rennie turns around to glare at the little shit cursing at it to die. Not wasting any time, Rennie activates her spear curse and starts to violently attack the slime, but this doesn't really seem to be that effective. Shocked at this, Rennie just starts dumbfounded as Perseus explains in the back how this slime is quite a drag to deal with, as you can only deal 1 damage to it per hit. However, as the friends are discussing it, the slime starts to crack, supposedly from slip damage due to the curse. As the shell breaks and the shitty slime is defeated, Perseus is shocked to see that it earned them 3,900 EXP. She also seems amazed at how they were able to kill it that fast, as compared to the traditional method. Seeing this, Rin offers an explanation about it getting destroyed by the curse. However, Perseus is having none of it and questions her about how much damage this slip is actually doing. Not having a definitive answer, Rin just puts it on them getting lucky somehow. And to test that out, she starts to take on another stone slime, hitting it with her curse spear again and again, resulting in only 1 damage per hit. Finally, as the slime is defeated, we see that the duo has been upgraded to level 21, and Aurelia has also maxed out, allowing for an evolution. However, Rin is hyperfocused on the enemy she just took down, wondering how this particular monster seems to be very efficient. Seemingly losing her shit, thinking about how she is gonna nerf the next shitty slime thing, Perseus tries to get her attention as her face is starting to scare her. Coming back, Rin shifts her focus to Aurelia and her evolution, thinking that the little shitty slimes can wait. Shifting to Lorley, we see the bustling city and its beautiful buildings and the sea up close. In the guild house, Perseus shouts about being home, which grabs the attention of some brats as they beam at her and her compassion. Incessantly asking about Rin and the huge-ass wolf that she has brought with her, the childlike girl asks whether she can pet it or not. The girl welcomes Perseus and asks about her friend. Choosing to introduce Rin before the weirdo spills any more beans, Perseus reveals how this girl is a named nap lover who is their guild's leader, and she is the one who managed to start a whole-ass riot while occupying the city, but somehow managed to save it. Happy at her close-ass introduction, the girl welcomes Rin and, like a total weirdo, shifts the conversation to her suspiciously smaller chest, which might make some people believe that she's a femboy. Not getting the hint, the psycho shifts attention to Rin and her guns, and how she seems to have gotten a great molded body. But before this weirdo can continue, Perseus smacks her in the head, embarrassed, telling her that it's rude to ogle people like a pervert, regardless of the gender. Pushing everyone back to not overwhelm her friend, Perseus shuts everyone down, causing Rin to be thankful for her friend and how she seems to understand her emotions. Shifting her focus, Perseus asks Nap if Rin can join their guild, to which Nap agrees and shows Rin their rules, which is exactly the shit a weirdo like her would write. Seemingly okay with the rules, Rin stares, on which catches Perseus's attention, causing her to smirk. Moving on to Rin agreeing to the rules and saying that she will obey them, Perseus welcomes her to their team of weirdos. As Rin introduces herself to everyone, a shady guy who looks like Pitbull on steroids calls her out, telling her to deal with her damn world that has. After looking at all the options, Rin decides to go with the undead witch option, as that seems to fit the skeleton the best. Pressing on the fancy ass button, the evolution begins as we see Aurelia start to shift, and seemingly turns into the female version of a hip-hop artist who also seems to have acquired flame breath, and unironically a weakness to fire as well due to her undead status. However, Rin does not seem to feel good about this evolution, and we realize that soon enough as well as an ugly-ass version of Aurelia starts to breathe out fire, which somehow also causes her throat to get all fed up, making her unable to speak. Shocked at this, Perseus asks Rin about what's happening, to which Rin responds that although Aurelia learned fire breath, the dumbass managed to burn her throat. Feeling bad, Perseus tried to heal Aurelia using her magic, however. The dumbass burns her throat again, causing Rin to have a meltdown, bawling her eyes out. Worried about this sudden crying, Perseus asks her what happened, to which Rin just responds she is trying to mentally relax by weirdly groping and crying on her friend's chest, while mumbling how she will somehow make Aurelia speak again. Shifting to another scene, we see Rin using her spear technique to take on the shitty stone slime things as she rides on Donta alongside her other companions. After managing to take it down, Rin moves on to the next target by ordering Donta to move his ass. Not wasting time, Rin fires another shot at the second stone slime. However, she gets distracted by something far away. On a closer look, it turns out to be a creepy eye staring right back at them. Wondering who this creepy stalker might be, Rin just sees it as another mission and orders Donta to close in at full speed. As the mysterious eyes watch on in confusion, our A-team approaches it head-on shocking the eye. Not giving it a chance to be ready, Perseus activates her Hyper Slash and cuts down the Eye of Darkness, earning a lot of EXP points. Amazed at the EXP they managed to gain, Rin wonders if this was a bonus monster, to which Perseus just states that it was creepy as hell. However, not giving an F, Rin wonders there better be more of these little shits as they got insane EXP. On the other side of the world, we see some ruins and the creepy-as hood dude known as the King of Graves from before, wondering how these must be the remains that her side chick, Orvis, talked about, and how his familiar has been eliminated. Seeing her brooding buddy, Orvis asks her what is wrong with him, to which he brushes her off, telling her to get her head back into investigating about Death Knight's origin. Accepting the task, Orvis asks for some more time, but just then we see a random dude entering the ruins, wondering how the hell a player managed to get here. Choosing to be a dumbass and calling out the inhabitants of the ruin, the creepy dude turns around, ordering to kill them all and not to leave anyone. Shocked at the psycho, the random dude with a weird ass egg on his head finally realizes that this hobo is bad news and that he should do something. Taking a quick step, the dude is suddenly hit massive attack from some unknown force. As the force hits the rocks behind him, the dude regains his senses and looks up to see a knight standing before him. Appearing unfazed, the dude sticks a dagger right at the knight's heart, muttering how this dumbass can't guard the gaps in his armor. But soon enough, his cockiness fades when he realizes that he has missed the opportunity to cause the knight to get the upper hand and hit him with the shield. Doubling over with pain over the impact, the dude tries to come up with something while staring at the knight, who menacingly stands there ready for the next strike. As the hippie dude looks at the battle, the random dude wonders how the knight threw away his shield, blind spots, willing to take a hit. Seemingly realizing his next move, the dude stands there with his dagger for a chance to strike, and he manages to find it pretty face as he declares his trump card, which turns out to be Holy Spear. But before he can activate his ability, the roof turns dark as weird symbols start to glow all round him, shaking the hell out of hell. With no time to react as the rocks rain down on him, the dude tries to shield himself, and we see that it is Orvis who is controlling the falling rocks, which makes the king of the raves wonder how Orvis intervened because she was done with the dude's shit. Moving on, as the dust from the falling rocks starts to settle down, we see the dude standing there in pain, cursing out. Just then, without wasting a beat, and before the dude can react, the knight launches his attack by bringing down his sword with full strength. But before it can hit him, the dude just vanishes, which shocks the hell out of Orvis. However, the King of Graves appears calm as he recognizes that the dude just used some kind of magic item. Turning to Orvis, he questions her why the dude had a fired egg on his head, as he doesn't understand whether that is a modern trend or some new weirdo shit. Getting to the point, the king demands Orvis's attention once more as she is lost in thought about the dude's dressing and overall behavior. The king asks her to keep going on with her investigation, to which Orvis agrees without second thought. While thinking about what transpired, the King of Graves wonders how he never expected a random adventurer to have death avoidance magic, causing the situation to be worse than he imagined. Shifting his focus to Rin, he seems to be concerned as well, based on how her powers appear to be similar to his own, yet still being somewhat different. Continuing, the Hobo King explains how sometimes, when the travelers hunt the living, they absorb their souls to grow stronger, and sometimes they get too powerful, and that's why Rin can prove to be his biggest problem. However, shifting back to our favorite duo, Rin is wondering about after getting a lot of EXP earlier, defeating a slime now feels mundane. But before she can shit-talk further, a stone slime smashes into her face, causing Rin to crash out while hitting it. The scene opens up with a crazed Rin landing vicious spear shots at the stone slimes, defeating them instantly. Finally getting the job done, Rhine lets out a sigh of relief, stating how Aurelia's next evolution will be at level 15, so that's why she has to deal with these shitty slimes. Tired with the enormous task at hand of leveling up, Rin wonders if there are any more bigger monsters around them. However, Perseus seems scared at the prospect of seeing the shady-ass eyes monsters again. However, as Rin is deep in thought, looking around to look at something, which turns out to be a huge stone slime standing there menacingly. Announcing that this is the king slime whose boss area seems to be the North Cliff of Loreley, Rin just mutters how he does not look that hard to beat. Not caring for a friend, Perseus explains that these bosses are typically in Channel 1, and once they get their asses nerfed, they don't appear for a while, resulting in the player earning a cool special chest. Looking at the dude at hand, Perseus continues, so far, no one has been able to take him down. Accepting the challenge, Rin activates her curse spear technique and launches her attack. However, it only causes minor damage to the king. However, this seems to be enough to set him off, as eating no time, he starts to violently jump towards Rin and Perseus. Realizing that her ass has messed up again, Rin looks terrified, noticing the monster's speed and how its level seems to be unknown as well. Deciding to get her ass out of there, Rin and her team get on Donta, ordering him to skeet out of that place before the monster catches on. As they flee, Perseus scolds her dumbass friend about hitting the monster when they don't even have a plan to kill it. Not having any response, Rin stays quiet. However, just then the slime hits them from the back as a notification pops up about Rin's curse wearing off. Shocked at how shortly it lasted, Rinner launches another attack, which causes the slime to get off their backs, yet still charging at full speed. Deciding to run will nerf his ass. Rin launches a cool fire spear curse, wondering how this strategy won't be able to chase them. Deciding to surprise these idiots, the Slime King starts to jump forward with even more speed and even launches a huge-ass stone at them. Not having time to run, the gang stands there helplessly waiting for their end, when suddenly Rin shouts Aegis, which seems to activate her magic shield, resulting in Donta being able to nullify the attack. With the shield now intact, Rin orders him to block any incoming stones as a shocked Rin watches on. Instructing her wolf servant to keep his ass moving, Rin launches her own spear attacks, landing further damage to the Slime King. During the battle, the gang notices a dead end ahead, causing Rin to order Donta to move his dumbass to the right. Drifting as in Fast and Furious, Donta swerves, and Rin wonders about what she is gonna do next. Seemingly ecstatic at the thrill of the adventure, Rin is glowing in the middle of the fight. Noticing her friend distracted, Perseus calls her ass out to focus as Donta is running towards a different direction. Seeing this, Rin asks him to move right as a terrified and ugly Aurelia screeches out. With everyone losing their shit except Rin, Donta runs off to the right path. Sometime later, shifting to the vast mountains, we see that the Stone Slime King has been defeated, earning them more than 60,000 EXP. As both the players reach level 31, Perseus and Donta appear exhausted, but Rin is elated. Noticing something out of the corner of her eye, Rin sees the sparkly treasure chest, which seems to be the area boss reward, and runs towards it to open it up. As both Rin and Perseus excitedly open the chest, they find a single, shady-looking book inside with nothing else. Disappointed at not getting any goodies like food, Perseus tries to reason that, due to its unidentified status, maybe the contents are super rare. Shifting towards Rin, Perseus asks her to appraise it in case she missed anything, to which Rin brushes it off, saying that she will do it later. Just then Donta, being a fat ass, announces his hunger, causing Perseus to exclaim how they should get back and let Hage cook something for them. Promising to get him something good, Rin assures Donta that he will be getting a heck of a meal after the work he put in, causing the poor wolf to bark in joy. But before that, Rin moves to Aurelia's evolution once again. Looking at the option, we see the first one, which is a Lily Witch, which is a human-sized witch seemingly coming with a shady AF pure label. Even though Rin seems to have everything for this evolution, she skips it due to the complete contrast between this version and her own, which can render them useless against someone immune to dark. Moving on to the next option, which is a Dragon Witch, we learn that this version will result in lose of human power, but will earn you great dragon powers. However, Rin is also uncomfortable with this one, fearing that this shit looks like a trap, based on how there can be a change of language while active in their skills, which will once again cause Aurelia to become useless. Finally, looking at the last option, we see the little witch, who seems to revive as an apprentice witch. Seeing this as the best option, Rin tells Aurelia to get her ass ready for her second chance. As a shocked Aurelia stands there, wondering what the hell Rin is saying, her master just brushes her off and starts the evolution. As the process begins, we see Aurelia getting reformed with some stats decreasing while others are increasing. Finally, the transformation seems to be done as a stunned Rin looks at her while Aurelia starts taking off her glove and looking at her now beautiful hand. Having evolved into a beautiful witchy girl, Aurelia stands there when, suddenly, she jumps into Rin's arms, bawling her eyes out, seemingly emotional at the whole ordeal. Meanwhile, as Perseus looks at the sorry sight, Rin tries to comfort Aurelia, who seems to be asking for her help. However, not focusing on the muttering fool, Perseus notices something that shocks out. Turns out that Aurelia has a mark on her forehead that belongs to the Stellavulch royal heir, which also causes Rin to be shocked as she stares at the girl in arms, wondering how this little idiot can be royalty. During the backstory, the scene opens up to a magnificent palace in the desert kingdom of Stellavulch, which lies in the western region of the Tarlash kingdom. We see a man leisurely spreading on the throne as some folks kneel in front of him, and we see that Aurelia is one of them. Learning that she is the youngest of the princess of Stellavulch, we see that the dude sitting on the throne is the king, and that he is gravely ill, and that his council was pushing him to name an heir. Being only 14, Aurelia decided to step out of the succession bullshit, saying how she was too young for this. However, as she was a gifted magician, much better than her dumbass siblings, she always stood out. This resulted in resentment among them, claiming that she is just pretending and that she does not want the crown. With a rumor spreading, we see that during a thick night, as Aurelia was fast asleep, a man stood above her with a dagger aimed at her. But as he brought it down, Aurelia suddenly woke up and used her insane powers to attack the hooded with a blast. This causes the man to stagger back as Aurelia sits up with her hand still out. With the assignation attempt now failed, we learn that the poor assassin was nerfed on the spot. But we learn that, much to Aurelia's surprise, the assassin was none other than her older brother, Dietrich. As a stunned Aurelia sits there trying to regain some semblance, her sisters enters the room, asking her if she was the one who struck her own brother down so mercilessly, to which Aurelia tries to respond. But before she can make any statement, a man comes from behind, and the bitchy sisters see their chance, accusing Aurelia of killing their brother in cold blood. This results in Oralia getting bound and arrested, resulting in her resigning to her cruel fate. But we see that this didn't happen, as some folks who were still loyal to Oralia decided to rebel and stop the execution, managing to give her time to escape. Causing a whole frenzy in the castle, the dude from before in Prince Charming, Fit orders them to get their shit together, and to kill the trailer on sight, however. During all this chaos, as the guards searched all around the castle as well as the streets, we see that Oralia managed to flee to the desert with some of her loyal guards. Back inside the castle, we see bound men being lined up as a man starts to literally chop their heads off. This scene causes a creepy-ass dude to smirk. On the other hand, in the vast deserts, we see Oralia wearing a hood running away because in the morning, a full search team will be sent out for her, and there is no chance she is gonna survive that. Choosing not to F around and find out, Oralia moves forward with her group and soon reaches the southern forest near Tarlash, where they decide to hide for some time in hopes of getting the search parties off their back. Looking around and seemingly settling in, we learn that it did indeed work for a while as they managed to shake off their pursuers. Whoever as a dead skeletal hand appears, we learn that in the end, all was in vain as no one got out of that place alive. Seeing the notification of Oralia's revenge quest being activated, Oralia explains how her shitty and cowardly older brother got all of them killed in the forest. Continuing on her telling her story to Rin, Oralia tells how her brother studied dark arts, something related to serpent power. Wondering about what Oralia said, Rin hesitantly asks if this type of magic is similar to the one she has been using, to which Oralia calls her big sister, which seems to shock her as well, and she goes quiet. Noticing this, Rin asks her to call her big sis, and while rubbing her shoulders, she goes on about how her powers aren't similar to Oralia's brothers. Giving an assuring smile, Rin stares at Oralia, wondering about this Casper dude. Just then, Perseus recalls how he once came to Lorelei, and that she saw him arguing with someone at the Meltis church. Recalling the shifty look on his face, Perseus explains how Casper looked so arrogant, almost like a piss-poor villain. Talking about the royal dress he wore that day, which had the same mark as the one present on Oralia's forehead, Perseus exclaims how it's true then that this shitty brother pushed her rightful sister aside and claimed the throne for himself. Though Rin bursts out calling the unforgivable nature of the crime, Perseus continues how they now know that he has an army demanding them to level up more and recruit some other people on their team as well, deciding to also ask the guild's help on this. However, talking about the guild, Perseus remembers how Rin still hasn't appraised some item yet, possibly hinting at the mysterious necklace they found earlier. Thinking that it's the best time to return, knowing that Danto is also hungry and has been pestering them about it, the gang sets forth on their journey. In the end, we see Rin looking at Oralia's stats, which seem to be quite pathetic, with a very low HP and a weird hiragana class that somehow confuses Oralia further.